All right, let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. All right, Mike Jimenez here, typically doing the acquired taste from 12 to 1:15. Joe Garcia has the day off today, so I'm just testing out the equipment from home. I tried doing this outdoors with my cell phone, didn't work very well. So let me see here. I'm going to text Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. What's going on? Hey, if you someone chat with me to make sure the chat feature works. Can you see this? Hello, hello. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. What's going on? What's going on? Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. If you are on the stream, send me a message by chat. Just checking to see if this works. Hello, hello. 3 2 1. 3 2 1. Yo, Chris, I see that you're on here, man. How does the audio sound, just for future reference? If you can text me a response as to whether or not this sounds good or not. Didn't pay the cell phone bill. All right, man. The thing about it is this: is that I got this. Okay, so you remember what happened in December when my wife and I celebrated our anniversary? We went to Jamaica, and apparently people I was starting shit with people online on Twitter, and there was a Twitter battle going on, and then I disappeared for a few days. I disappeared for a few days because my cell phone got wet. We were in Jamaica, and I kneeled down to take a picture, and my phone was in my pocket. So what I ended up doing was I got this case, that's this waterproof case. And what ends up happening is that if I use it too long, it ends up overheating. So I was at the park down the street from my house, and it simply said overheated phone, turn it off. So I had to turn that thing off, and I decided, you know what? I do have a headset. I do have all this, and what I want to do is see if this can work. If for some reason Joe calls in sick, can't do the show, he's out of town, and I still want to do the show, or if I want to do something breaking news related, let's say the Spurs were to sign somebody big, and I want to jump on the page. I want to make sure that this works pretty well. So you say that it sounds pretty good. I do have a pretty good microphone, to be honest with you, but very, very cool. I'm glad to see that this works, Chris. What you got, man? Give me a question. I got to talk about something. Got to talk about something. Earlier, we were talking about we need a trade for Dame Dollar. Okay, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. You think about Dame Lillard. I mean, the guy is just stone cold, dude. He's just stone cold. But he's going to be what, 33 this season. He signed until he's 36. He's going to be making $60 million at that point. Uh, People are saying that it doesn't fall in line with what the Spurs are doing. It kind of does in a way because his contract falls off when you need to renew Victor Wembanyama. So it does make sense to me. It's just whether or not you can pull off the assets of the trades to do it. And the Spurs have a lot of draft capital, man. 3 first rounders this year, potentially 3 set in stone next year, swaps along the way, 2026 or so. Spurs got to do something. And if it's not Dame, then who? Like, exactly who are Spurs fans going to be happy with? If it's not Damian Lillard, a perennial all-star who averaged 4 points per game last year, exactly who are you going to want? Like, I don't understand the logic. I don't understand the logic of, well, we got to have nothing but young guys who are all the same age. No, we don't. You have some vets out there. We got Steph Curry being 35 and he's still getting after. He is. And the difference, though, is this, Chris, is that Steph has gone and done this at age 35, but he has a lot of miles on the odometer because he plays in so many different playoff games and so many different NBA Finals runs, some that he's won and, one that he's lost. And the thing about it is this, is that Dame doesn't have that, man. He hasn't gone on those deep playoff runs. He doesn't have a lot of miles on the odometer. He might be 32, 33 years old, but he has the body of a 30-year-old. We have the same age, same draft as they get paid at the same time. Yeah, that's right. That's right. If you get drafted in 20, like last year we had 3 first rounders, Malachi Branham, Jeremy Sohan, and you got Blake Wesley. And all 3, the Bills do at the same time. So you would have to extend all 3 of them at a higher clip if you want to keep them. Trey Jones, though, coming back at $10 million per was perfect, man. That was absolutely perfect. That's a great deal for what he brings to the table. I know I give him a lot of crap because he doesn't make buckets outside of 15 feet. But if you can get a Trey Jones at his age, at his skill set for $10 million, that's a steal. That is a steal. ESPN had projected him to be a $10 to $12 million kind of guy. Dame has that heart and loyalty. He's been in Portland for how long now? Too long. It's been a decade. It's been a decade. But you're right, man. Trey Jones was a steal. And he got married over the weekend, which makes me even happier because now you have a family guy. You have somebody who's married as part of the team. And I know there's other players that might be married, that might be older, but the Spurs have this really young core of young guys. And to think about a Trey Jones at his age, early to mid-20s, is to be thinking about a commitment to somebody in the form of a marriage is a big deal. Chat line's open if you want to get in on the conversation. Again, the chat line there, just drop me a question. I know some people are jumping on. I'm sure there are people at home who are thinking to themselves, or people at work going, why did I get 4 notifications from the Acquired Taste today? Well, we were not going to do anything today because Joe needed the day off, and it's 4th of July week and all that stuff, and he wanted some time off. I understand. But I was thinking about the capabilities of, well, what happens if Joe can't make it one day? What if Joe needs to call in sick, or he has a family emergency? And I want to know, can I still do a show without him utilizing the chat feature? I tried utilizing it with my cell phone. The reason why I did the cell phone thing was, you know what, Chris, that's a very good point. Where is the rest of the YouTube, Twitter gang? Join me on YouTube right now, on YouTube Live right now. All right, I'll send out an invite on Twitter. I'm trying not to be an old man when it comes to this stuff, Chris. Hope you understand that. So, Chris, what are you gonna karaoke when we go out, baby? When I go out and we celebrate having 500 subscribers, what are we karaokeing, baby? Because chances are I'll do something George Michael related. Netflix has a new show coming out, a new documentary on Wednesday about George Michael, and I'm all about it. Absolutely all about it. All right, I'll let you know, Chris. But what are you gonna sing, baby? What are you gonna sing? The chat feature is on. I see that people are starting to jump on little by little. But again, where is the rest of the YouTube, Twitter gang? They were probably tired of me and my stuff crapping out. But I think this is the way to go. Backstreet Boy kind of guy, you know. I want it that way, you know. Backstreet Boys. James Pledger is an NSYNC guy. He will go to his grave believing that NSYNC was better than Backstreet Boys. I don't necessarily buy that. I'm not going to say that I was huge into either, but at the time, I didn't. At the time when I was like dating girls who were like really into it, right? If they played NSYNC, I got tired of it. But if they played Backstreet Boys, I could put up with it. I could put up with everybody and all of that stuff. Backstreet's Back, all that crap. I could put up with it. But when I go karaoke, dude, I do a lot of like I'll do everything from Jeff Garcia is texting me. What's going on, Jeff? Asking how to get on the stream. Chris says he'll do some Jason Aldean, Backstreet Boys, JT, Guns N' Roses, all sorts of stuff, man. With enough drinks in me, I'll do whatever. Dude, it's called the Goldilocks zone, man. It's called the Goldilocks zone. You're not too drunk, you're not too sober. You just kind of get into that vibe. That's like drink 4 for me. If I'm 4 through 5, dude, I'm perfect, dude. I'll go and do whatever. I'll even tell people to pick the song for me, right? Just make it a doable song. It's funny because I karaokeed about a year ago, and somebody put up. I said, I just put a song that you think I would know up there, and I'll go sing it. And they did Collective Soul's "Shine," and that's a song I never would have done on my own. Never would have done Collective Soul. And I like Collective Soul, but that's not what I think of when I think of karaoke. And I went up there and I did it, and it was pretty good. I actually did a pretty good job up there. Okay, who is the? We have AF Blue 82 saying, asking the question: who is the player we're taking on? We're taking on when we facilitate a Dame or Harden deal. Harrow too rich, Nurkic, Tobias Harris. It's kind of hard to say what's rich or not. Did you see that contract that Russell Westbrook signed? $4 million a year. And then, dude, who are all these Spurs fans who are like, Tyler Harrow? We don't need Tyler Harrow. He doesn't fit our time plan. The fuck are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? Tennessee whiskey guy, nice. That's yes in 2 different ways. No, man, there's a lot of names out there that are still available the Spurs can get. They're not going to get Harden. Tyler Harrow. I mean, I don't see that happening for personal reasons in the sense that the guy likes the limelight. I mean, if you see the way he dresses going into the stadium and out of the stadium, he was built for that Miami scene. He's going to want to play for a New York or a Brooklyn. He's going to want to play for a California type of team. That's just who he is, man. That's just who he is. Maybe I see him going to a Houston. As far as other players are concerned, Nurkic is fine. Tobias Harris, you need some people out there who are going to provide some sort of veteran leadership. And I hear the name Gorgie Dang all the time, and I know he's a locker room favorite. But when I say veteran leadership, I'm talking about on the court, not somebody who's going to make you feel good off the court. It's 2 different things. This is pretty cool, man. I'm glad that this works. Now, what Joe Garcia needs to show me is how to connect this to Twitter and how to connect this to Facebook. Can I do both simultaneously? Let me see about that. Let me see about that. If I minimize this screen and I open up a Facebook page, can I do both? All right, let's see here. Can I go live with this? Can I go live with this? Let's see here. Go live. Looks like I can. Not going to do it, but it looks like I can. Interesting. Dude, I appreciate everybody who's on the stream right now. Again, this is basically a test 1 2, test 1 2. At 11:55, I was texted by somebody asking the question if I was going to have a show on today, and I said no. It's going to be. I'm not going to. I'm not going to have a show today. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, you know what? What if Joe can't make it one day? Hit the like button, by the way. How dare there people be on here not hit the like button? Echo, what are we doing? Today I am at home and I am stuck at home, man. I am stuck at home right now because my wife got into a bad car accident about a month ago. She hit a car and it was her fault. And the SUV was all jacked up. And it took a month for them to fix it. And then when they finished fixing it, something was wrong. The check engine light kind of turned on and whatnot. So they fixed the body, but they didn't necessarily fix everything that was on the inside. They thought they did. We paid our deductible. They're giving us the keys to our car, and then the lights turn on. And so the vehicle that we were using in the meantime this past month, we gave back over the weekend, thinking that my wife was going to have her SUV and I would just have my truck. But turns out that wasn't the case. The car is now back in the shop. They're saying it's probably not going to be fixed until Friday or Saturday. So right now we are a one vehicle family and it sucks ass. And I'm stuck at home. I can't do anything. Can't do anything. I got 2 of my kids here, got 3 of my dogs here. Can't do anything while my wife's car is being fixed. Someone was asking the question earlier about playing poker, how all that works. Just know that when you go, it's going to cost you about $30 to play. There's no rake. It's going to cost you about $30 to play if you want to play for 2 hours, 2-3 hours, $30, right? So if you're going to take $300, 30 of it's going to go to the house in the form of a rental for your seat and a membership fee. But there's no rake. So if you win a big hand, you don't have to worry about the house taking any of it. So it kind of averages out over time. It's not a bad deal. It really isn't. I prefer San Antonio Card Club or San Antonio SA Card House rather over Rounders. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I get intimidated by Rounders. Maybe that's the case. Rounders is a good place. Don't get me wrong. I've enjoyed myself there. The food's amazing there. The drinks are good. But as far as what's going on over there when it comes to the poker playing, there's a lot of sharks there, man. There's a lot of sharks, and SA Card House seems to be more of a atmosphere like a really nice home game is what it is. Whereas when I go to Rounders, I kind of feel like everyone believes that they're on ESPN watching this or that they're on the WSOP doing all that. It just seems a little bit odd and a lot of bullying going on and all that stuff. SA Card House was a better place for me. Bought in for 300, cashed out for 625. Hadn't played in a while. I like it, man. I like it. Echo asking what we're doing. Hanging out here, man. Half an hour to make my kids some breakfast, some lunch rather. They've already had breakfast. Gonna get them some lunch. Probably some spaghetti and meatball type stuff. For dinner, my wife is making beef fajitas. So she bought the beef fajitas, and she will make the fajitas when she gets here. So I'm responsible for breakfast and lunch. What is hitting the grill tomorrow? Thinking about doing some steaks. So Chris Leha's asking the question. Please don't say you are barbecuing and all you're doing is burgers and dogs. Well, Chris, gonna be honest with you, man. I hate to barbecue. I do it. I'll go out there and I will, you know, light up the Weber. I'm not the guys, the sports star, Jason and Joe and Rob and all them who have the big ass Traegers and wood pellets and all that shit. Yeah, man, that's not me, dude. I do it. I like staying. I'm an indoor dog, man. I like staying indoors. If it's 105 degrees outside, I don't want to slave over a fire outside. So one of two things happens. Either A, somebody else does the barbecuing or grilling, or B, I pick up Rudy's or I pick up Barbecue Station or something like that. I value my time more than just going out there. I don't get any joy in working the grill. I get no joy in it. And it's weird because I have a lot of people do. My dad loves watching the grill do its magic, right? He likes going out there and and doing the fajitas and the steaks and the burgers and all that. And he will sit there and bake in the sun and just be soaking wet with this ring of sweat. I love my dad, but I don't have that in me, man. I don't have the desire to sit there and just bake in the sun just to get a steak that I can get down the street, you know? Maybe that's just me. Chris coming out saying that he's doing some shrimp pasta tonight. My wife is going to make something shrimp related for herself tonight. It's a good idea. I don't like shrimp pasta. My wife does. Maybe I'll make something like that for her. We just bought some shrimp yesterday. I'm not the biggest fan. I'll eat it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it all. You got to have a cold, wet towel on when you barbecue. Dude, come on, man. I would much rather just stay home and watch TV, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. And so many people love it, man. So many people love the idea of going out and just grilling all day long and just wiping your sweat and drinking a beer. I'll drink the beer. That's about it. That's about it. This past weekend, I got to meet up with James Pledger from San Antonio Sports Star. We were hanging out with him and got to have a few beers and just talk about life, man. James is one of my best friends. If I miss anything about San Antonio Sports Star, it's the idea of seeing him and Ryan Nagel and Rudy on a daily basis. That's what I miss. I miss seeing my friends out there. I don't miss necessarily being on the radio. And I think that's because I get this other forum where I'm doing my stuff. I'm doing stuff with Joe, Acquired Taste. It takes, I'm able to satisfy that need. Joker asking the question: grilled shrimp or fried shrimp? I would rather do fried shrimp. Then again, I asked my wife what kind of sauces she want because I thought she wanted like cocktail sauce, and she goes, "No, butter's good. Butter is good." Robert's not saying badass. Got it working. Yes, I got the Focusrite system here. Right, this is a lot of what we use over at Joe's house. But I gotta tell you, man, Joe's house. People ask like, where are you doing this operation? Right, Joe gutted out his garage to his house and turned it into a studio. A lot of people think that we're indoors and that we are doing the show from an air conditioned area. We're not, man. We're in a garage. And the thing about it though is that he's got these big ass fans that are blaring. So if I took off my headset, I wouldn't be able to hear myself think because the fans are so loud, circulating air in there. But the thing is that the microphones are so good at his house that you don't hear it. It's so directional to the mouth. And when I walk in there, he opens up the garage. I make my way in, and it's full on studio. It's full on studio. It sounds great. It looks good. The capabilities of having like a TV station type of thing. We probably need to move a camera over a little bit so that when I'm looking at the person on screen, I'm not looking so far off to the left. But that's the only thing that I we kind of need to tinker with. We have the capabilities of having multiple people on there. I know that we had Brandon Medina on last week. We've had Anthony Pittman. We've had Mike Taylor on. But that's going to be a little bit. What if we want to have a focus group? What if we want to have 3 or 4 people there? How does that work? So we have that going on. We have a third and fourth sponsor that I'm looking at. I'm looking at trying to pick up this week. I'm going to go try to knock those down by the end of the week. And if we can get 4 continuous sponsors, then we'll add that second hour beginning August 7th. And that's a good ramp up going towards college football season, going towards the start of the NFL season. I mean, because think about it. Right now, for me to be blessed with 410 subscribers on YouTube after just 3 weeks, um, to have that and have very little sports going on other than San Antonio FC once a week, other than the fact that we got Wemby. I mean, at least we'll be able to talk about games, right? Like tomorrow, like tonight, you have the San Antonio Spurs in their first summer league game, but Wemby's not playing this one. This is going to be one in Sacramento, so we might see a Malachi Branham, for example, play tonight. So we're going to see some Spurs basketball. By the way, if you're on here right now, hit the like button. That helps me out tremendously. And if you're on here, be sure to subscribe to what we do and spread the word, spread the gospel that we're trying to do sports talk radio here. And it's beyond me, man. It's beyond me because we're going to add a second and third host pretty soon. I'm going to say by the start of college football season, we'll actually have that third hour. But this needs to be a business. And the way that this is a business is if money comes in. And money has to come in the sense of sponsorships. Again, it's tax deductible for those of you who are business owners. But it needs to function as a business. I'm not trying to make this my like pay all my bills. It just needs to be something where Joe's wife will look at it and go, "Did you get paid this week? Because if not, why are you doing it?" Right? The same thing for me. You know, I have my business, and my wife's going to be like, why are you doing a 2-hour show if you're doing it for free?" Right? So this needs to function like a business, and there's going to be ways that people can do it. I had a couple of people reach out to me saying that they'd be wanting to do the tip and all that stuff. That's all if you want to. There's going to be a way of doing that starting next week, but it's one of those things. If you want to subscribe in that manner, you can. You don't have to. But what I want this to do, and this is one thing that I will say about Mike Taylor over at Ticket 760, or formerly of Ticket 760. I talked with him the other day. We were over at McFinnigan's, and I briefly spoke to him, and I said, "Hey, I'm really impressed by the loyalty that your listeners are." And he goes, "Yeah, it's pretty cool." And I want to be able to have that also where we can all gather as a community. So, AF Blue 82, Echo, Chris Leha, myself, Joker, when Jeff Garcia comes into town, I'm going to want us to all get together and just hit up a place. Maybe hit up the Friendly Spot, hit up 1919, hit up Esquire, hit up the Rue Pub, just hit up a place. And maybe it doesn't have to be fancy. Don't sell that to Jeff because Jeff likes to get dressed up. But just some place that we can go where we can just kind of just BS and talk sports, man. Get to know each other. Want to know what you guys do. Learn about what I do. I mean, I'm a financial advisor, dude. I've been a financial guy for 17 years. So I deal with people's retirement planning, their 401, their IRAs, and all that stuff. And I deal with life insurance and all that stuff. I've been doing that for 17 years. I moved over so far this year. I've moved over in client assets $2.5 million, which is pretty good so far this year. My goal was 4 million before the year started, so I'm doing pretty good. The chat line is open. Chris Leha, I'm not a baller like Jeff to dress up fancy. Can we pick a low-key place to meet? Yes. I would much rather be a low-key place. Now, I make fun of Jeff about that, man. Jeff is a funny guy, man. He's a very interesting character. We get along very, very well. And Jeff and I talk to Jeff on the phone probably, if not every day, I talk to him at least every other day. And it's interesting because, Jeff has lived in New York for so long. And whenever he's in town, I do see him. But it's so bizarre that like he's become such a good friend, but he's also somebody who lives so far away. He is moving back to San Antonio in the next few weeks or so. So it's going to be nice to have him back. As far as a place to go, you guys tell me, man. Dude, my favorite bar in town, one of my favorite bars in town is Roxy's, right across the street from Ingram Park Mall. Roxy's is slightly hood. It's slightly rough. But if we're going to just go drink or maybe karaoke a little bit, it's not a bad place. Rob reaches out and says, Jeff is so highbrow that when he goes, he wears his 7 jeans and his Luchis if I'm saying that right, ostrich boots, dude. That's the New York in him, man. He's from San Antonio, man. He's a San Antonio guy, but he has the New York in him is there. It won't go away, and it makes him unique, right? I mean, it makes him unique. A night 210, which that's how we do today, man. I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Locked on Spurs, Jeff Garcia. Damn it, I am getting cooked, baby. Jeff, here's the thing, man. Here is the thing. I get cooked all the time, Jeff. I get cooked all the time. How many times am I going to be called thirsty? How many times am I going to be called horny and all that crap that you all put on Twitter? I don't respond 99% of the time. Just because I took one photo, okay, 7 of them, with Paige Sporonic, it just because I got to know Annie Agar, I'm horny, right? That's what we hear, right? That's what we hear. But I shined the spotlight on Jeff for once, and it's so funny because I'm ragging on Jeff half the time, going, Jeff, dude, they're not cooking me anymore. They're cooking you. And it's because I touched a nerve there, Jeff. I touched the nerve by the fact that you kind of are fancy pants. Like when we go out, yeah, Rob saying Paige is fire. Dude, she's beyond fire, dude. That is one of the hottest women I've ever seen in my entire life. And when I had my arm around her, dude, she's smoking hot. But Annie Agar, though, I think is just as pretty. I think Annie Agar's prettier than Paige. Paige is just, Paige has just got the body that's just unreal. But face-wise, Annie Agar all day long. But Jeff, the Uber steak, dude. For those of you who don't know the story, I talked about it on the show the other day. Jeff ordered takeout, so he's trying to place our bet on DraftKings Sportsbook, and I'm on Zoom with him. We're going back and forth, and he goes, "Oh, I ordered dinner. It's coming. I got taken. Right? It's gonna come my way." So I'm like, "Okay, Uber Eats, Postmates, something like that." He gets a steak, and not only is it a steak, it is a French steak. I want you, and I dare you, Jeff, to find the receipt and post it on Twitter and see what people say. Because that has got to be at least $100 dinner order, dude. At least, not even including the cost of delivery. That's $130, dude. I'm gonna set the over under at 130. A Knight believes the same, says that has to cost at least 127. That's right. Chris Lehouse saying Jeff is paying the tab when we go out for drinks. I don't care what he says. Okay. So, Chris, I got to tell you something, though. Locked on, Jeff says, hell no, I'm not posting that. Going to give Leha fuel. Okay, dude. Okay, so Leha, there's a bar near my house. It's about 2 miles away, and it's called the Rusty Nail. And the Rusty Nail is on 1604 and Petranco. If you go up Petranco outside the loop, about 5 miles. Okay, so it's like you're getting into the county, right? So the Rusty Nail is a bar that went up about 2 years ago. And last year, Jeff was in town. He was like, hey, do you want to go out? And for some reason, I had to stay close to home. I don't know what the reason was, but I had to stay close to home. So I said, let's go to Rusty Nail. And Rusty Nail is like it's a neighborhood bar, but it's a nice neighborhood bar. I mean, it has a really good whiskey and bourbon selection. And when we walked in, you go into the parking lot. The parking lot is like a gas station, a laundromat, and like some taqueria. And you have this bar, and Jeff is like looking around going like, where the hell are you taking me? And we walk in, and you go, man, this place is nice. Like if you close your eyes, you might actually think that you're in New York because it has a nice little vibe going to it. It's a lounge and all that stuff, right? So I order a drink, right? and I ordered a bourbon and diet. And typically, whenever I order a bourbon and diet, or you know, Crown and Coke, Jack and Coke, whatever, normally that's like $7, right? $8, depending on which one you do, right? Depending on which one you do. The tab came out where it was like 13 or $14. And I was appalled. Okay. I was like, holy crap, $14 for a drink? And Jeff looks at me and goes, man, it's cheap here. Jeff Garcia, I'm gonna roast you on this one. You were like, oh, it's so cheap over here. So cheap. $13, $14 bourbon and Coke, and he was all about it. He responds back with, damn it, Jimenez. I'm gonna see if I can get you on speakerphone, Jeff. Let's see if we can get you on speakerphone. Let's see if we can get you on speakerphone here. Jeff Garcia. Let's get you on, Jeff. Time to get roasted. If you can hear me on the YouTube thing. Okay, so do you care to explain yourself about the we have you live, by the way. Do you care to explain yourself as to how a $14 bourbon and Coke is pretty cheap in your eyes?
Well, because I mean, you put it in perspective of it, just like an Uber in New York City versus an Uber in San Antonio is like night and day. I remember one time I had to take an Uber from the south side to the north side for some business meeting. It was right after I had left News 4 and this other outlet was looking to hire me. And I didn't have a car. I said, well, I'm going to take an Uber. That Uber from the south side to the north side, $8. In New York, that would have been $40. So I was like, that's it. And that's all they want is an $8. I'm down with that. Let's go. Let me tell you this too. Even just for example, everybody know I'm mentioning on Locked On Spurs that I'm likely moving back to San Antonio permanently. So I'm getting things organized, counting out the best option to transport my stuff. So I go to U-Haul, and one of the guests that we have on Locked On Spurs, he had moved from Chicago to San Antonio. And he said, try the U-Haul. It's the cheapest way to do it. I've been using it all my time. He said they only range about like $60 a box. You rent a box for $60 and they move it for you. Perfect. Let me go there. So I go to the U-Haul in New York City, and it was like almost triple that. And I go, wait a minute. Why is it almost triple that? Why is the unit, just triple what it normally costs outside in New York? And the guy literally just says, because you're in New York City. That's the only reason. Mm-hmm. The only reason why it's triple the cost anywhere else. He goes, you go to New Jersey, they're about $60. But just because you're physically here, that's the difference. So I've gotten accustomed to that. So that's why whenever I go home to San Antonio or go to Boston or whatever, that's like, wow, what a relief.
Jeff Garcia, here's the thing, man, and I'm going to take you off of my I have you on my cell phone right now. I got to take this thing off so that you can hear me better. Here we go. Here we go.
You got
it? Almost. I got half of it done. I have this this case that is just a pain in the ass. I hate this case.
You want to call back? Or you got it?
No, I got it, dude. I got it. So we got Jeff Garcia on, and Rob reaches out and says, at Roxy's, the tab is never more than $25.
What are you ordering at Roxy's?
Anything.
Hey, what is Roxy's anyway?
Give me 1 second here. I'm almost done taking this stupid thing out. All right, perfect. Okay, so can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so Roxy's is a bar right next to Ingram Park Mall, dude. Okay, Oddly enough, I had my first date there with my wife, and it was at Roxy's, this rink-a-dink bar that I told my wife, who was on our first official date, that I told her that we were going to get married. And
special place for you then.
it is a special place, but that was my place for so long. Chris reaches out and says, "Money is irrelevant when you're with the boys and having a good time." Sounds like somebody who's not married. Sounds like somebody who's not married. Because if you spend a lot of money and your wife.
I pick up the tab. Did you hear what I did for Pleasure for his birthday?
No, what'd you do?
So we're at his birthday. Your big party there, a bunch of pizza. So secretly, when I was about to leave, I think I had to go, and I was gonna meet up with Pleasure later at the Rupa, but I had something in between. Oh, I think I had a game to go cover. Here's what it was. It was like a Saturday mid Spurs season. So I'm leaving, and I'm saying bye and everything, but I had paid for half the entire party's ticket, no matter how much you ordered. So then I'm leaving, and I guess Pleasure found out, like in that little short time that I was, leaving, and he had found out like secretly I paid half. He was like, "Dude, wait, no!" And I just ran out. So yeah, when you're having a good time, man, yeah, it's just about having a good time. So yeah, I agree with Chris there.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs, also known as Moneybags Jeff.
No, that's not true. Lies.
Hashtag
Lies.
Moneybags Jeff.
Lies. Hey, you're getting used to this technology, man. Look at you doing a solo show, no production. Good for you.
the Moneybags Jeff has already started the hashtag. No. It is trending on here. We got to migrate that over to Twitter. No, it's funny because it was around 11:50, 11:55, and I had a friend reach out to me. My friend Richard was like, "Dude, you can have a show today?" And I was like, "No, Joe is off today, so I'm not going to do anything." And I thought about it, and I was like, "Well, wait a minute. That means that we're kind of dependent on whether or not he is available, and what happens if somebody calls in sick? What if I have a sick kid?" I was thinking about all those different things, and my wife and I have cleared out a room here at the house, and I was telling her, I was like, you know what, maybe I can turn this into a studio, like some sort of podcast studio. Yeah. And she did not say no, so we're looking at that being a very good possibility. And so I tried taking this out with my cell phone, but my cell phone, because of the stupid OtterBox, started heating up, and it turned itself off automatically. And people reached out to me going, "Dude, we're getting 3 or 4 alerts on YouTube." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just testing stuff out." But right now, I mean, we've got 15 people on, and that's pretty cool. It's cool that the counter's on. I got to figure out how I can do this along with Twitter at the same time. That's the thing. Is that how do you do that other than just post a link of what you're doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Jeff, let's talk Spurs, dude. So I got you on the phone. And by the way, Bones and Chris and Knight and Chris and all you guys that are Rob, Echo, all you guys that are commenting on this, can you hear Jeff very well? Because really, I just have him on speakerphone.
Oh, that's how you're doing it. I thought you had some sort of fancy contraption to connect to your show.
No, but can you all let me know? Do you hear him very well? Because I'm basically putting the phone right up against my microphone.
Oh, I didn't know. I'll speak louder.
Okay, so Chris says he sounds decent. Sometimes you got to get it closer to the mic.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Let's talk about the Spurs, baby. Let's talk about the Spurs. The Spurs Summer League starts tonight.
Yes, it does.
Do we have any idea what a starting lineup would look like?
No, none whatsoever. But that's the beauty of Summer League. You can mix and match and have some fun with the units and lineup and how players interact and develop chemistry with one another. Look, these are basically meaningless games, so it doesn't matter if you're running the score or a halftime score, or if they're getting trounced or they're trouncing the other team. It's just about seeing how these players are going to look. So all eyes are, especially for tonight, is Brandon Miller. I think he's going to get a lot of the spotlight tonight because Wemby's not going to play in all of these games. So it's going to be leaning towards more Brandon Miller focus. But you got guys on this roster that could be fighting for a spot. Whether it be Barlow, whether that be Blake Wesley. Is he going to prove enough to be Trey Jones's backup? I think that's going to be interesting. Malachi Branham's on the roster. But I'm interested in seeing how Sidi Sissoko is going to look.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was. A lot of people think that the Spurs got themselves a steal with him at 44. So high flyer, very aggressive to the rim. Another French guy. So we'll see. So I'm going to be looking at him, specifically how he looks on the NBA court.
I know you say that there's it doesn't matter. And I guess for all intents and purposes, it doesn't matter. But this is a youth movement. And some of these players are going to be on the varsity roster, if you will, at some point this season. Malachi Branham, Sissoko, all of those guys.
I think you're going to start seeing a shift more towards players getting stashed away a little longer than usual in Austin. I think that could happen.
Well, there's a log jam of the number of people that they've got on the team.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know a lot of Spurs fans are upset that the Spurs haven't really done much in the offseason other than re-sign their own. By the way, congratulations, Trey Jones. He's now a married man.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And to see his new wife start the Go Spurs Go chant was fantastic. That warmed the heart. And you know this, right? Because I think when people hear me talk about the Spurs, they hear what they want to hear, but then they don't hear the whole conversation piece. Like, for example, if I said that I wanted to have Fred VanVleet over Trey Jones, but then I also said in the same breath, I'd rather have Trey Jones at 10 than VanVleet at 30.
But I lost you again. Say that again. So
I said that when I said that I'd rather have VanVleet as point guard over Trey Jones, at the same time I said, you know what? But I'd rather have Trey Jones at 10 than VanVleet at 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, financially, it makes sense. You don't want to break the bank, of a guy that, may disrupt chemistry. My problem is like a lot of these high-name free agents, and I get Spurs fans who want the Spurs to swing for the fences and great bring these guys in. But first of all, this is Wemby's team, so he's gonna be demanding a lot of the touches, a lot.
Right.
And there's not to mention there's still Devin and Keldon as of now, needing their touches. And then Zohan, maybe you start seeing some plays called for him late last season. But there's only one basketball, and that's why, like Trey Jones, it's one basketball left that you have to worry about on the offensive end that needs to eat. So, and I was always perplexed by why a lot of Spurs fans were not too high on Trey Jones. They're okay with him. They're fine with him. They're just not. I mean, I'm seeing. I don't know. His 3-point shooting is horrendous, but you don't need him to be a 3-point shooter when you got all that firepower offensively.
Right, and that's my thing about Trey Jones is that, do what you do good.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole Wemby thing, Wemby being the Spurs winning the draft lottery and getting Victor Wembanyama, solves so much. Because it allows all these dominoes to fall at one point, at one time. Trey Jones is not going to be asked to do things that he doesn't normally do well.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Sohan is not going to be asked to become a savior, which is what they were basically trying to get him to learn how to do. He can stay in his lane and focus on what he does well. And it's all because of Wemby. And what's going to end up happening is that Wemby is going to do well. And Sohan will start doing well. And Trey Jones will too. And people are going to be like, ha, Jimenez, I told you they were going to be good players.
Yeah.
They're good players because of who's next to them.
Yeah.
It throws gasoline on what they do. Because if the Spurs were sitting here with Amen Thompson as the first round draft pick, the Spurs would be staring down the barrel of another 25-30 win season.
Yeah, they may have to tank in a bad tank crop.
Exactly. And that's the thing about it is that, you get the star player, it changes everything. It changes everything. And, a lot of Spurs fans are getting all excited about, some of them getting excited, some of them getting pissed off about the idea of Dame Lillard joining the Spurs. Dude, if Dame Lillard wants to join the Spurs and he's all about it and wants to play with Wemby, I would move mountains to make that happen. But at the same time, Others are like, well, he's 32 years old. He's going to be 33. And I understand all that. But at the end of the day, he's a 32 point per game shooter who gets 7 assists, who's a very good player. He's a top 10 player in the entire NBA. Why wouldn't you want him on this team? And the idea of, well, you have to get rid of draft picks, and it's funny talking to Spurs fans, and it's funny hearing from them on Twitter where they go off and they talk about the fact that of all this draft capital, and almost as though they think that you can get a very good player for just 2 or 3 first round draft picks.
Well, here's the other side to it too is that everybody knows the Spurs business. Like, you're not gonna try to get one over on another team.
Right.
Everybody in the league knows they have a bunch of cash, they got a bunch of flippable players, and they got draft picks. So yeah, you're not gonna blame Portland if they go all out and say, okay, well, give us multiple first round unprotected and throw in Keldon. You know, everybody knows each other's business right now.
Right. And it's not like Portland has. It's not like Dame Lillard has Portland bent over with a deal that's going to expire in a year. The guy has like 4 years left on his deal. You know, so Portland is in no need to be making any moves or anything like that. And Portland has a very good young player that in their back pocket that might develop into the next Paul George type of player. So if the Spurs are going to be making moves, that would require them getting rid of, for a player like Dame.
But the writing's been on the wall for a while with Portland. You know, they trade away CJ, you promote Simons,
Yeah.
draft Scoot Henderson. You know, what are they trying to tell Dame?
Bones reaches out and says the Spurs would have to gut the team. Well, look at it this way. What would a starting lineup do of this? Let's say Dame, Branham, a starting lineup of Dame Lillard, Malachi Branham, Victor Wembanyama, Zach Collins, Jeremy Sohan. How many wins does that get you?
Gives you about high 40s.
High 40s, right?
Yep, high 40s.
Exactly. So why wouldn't you want to be there? That's what I don't understand. Jose reaches out and says, I think people also think we can draft Tony and Manu again to go with Wemby, but we got very lucky with that. We scout well, but I don't think people expected them to be like that. That's true, because, I mean, if people knew Tony was going to be Tony, he wouldn't have dropped to 29. If they knew that Manu was going to be Manu, he wouldn't have dropped to the 50s. Denver lucked out with Nikola Jokic being there in the second round. So it's just one of those things. You never know what's going to happen. And what I am afraid of is the idea. So you saw that Victor Wembanyama signed his deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How many years was that deal again?
4.
4. After 4, what happens?
It's free agency time.
Does he become restricted free agent, or does he become a
unrestricted
free agent? So therefore, why would we blow this whole thing about the Spurs timeline? The Spurs timeline, I hear that phrase all over Twitter right now. It doesn't follow the Spurs timeline. The Spurs timeline is 4 years. Because for all we know, he's going to play for the New York Knicks in 5.
Oh, don't say that.
It's true.
Or the Lakers. They love those generational bigs.
Or the Lakers. Haiti reaches out, asks the question, why would the Spurs not want to be the third team to assist in Dame going to Miami and Spurs receiving Tyler Herro? Isn't he a young point guard? Tyler Herro is known more as a shooter.
Yeah, he's just a shooter, yeah. Which would address a big Spurs need, though, but I think he'd get something better.
Yeah, we need some three-point shooting on this team. And it's funny, you look at what the Spurs have done this offseason. They kept Trey Jones 2 years, $20 million. That's a perfect deal for what he's doing, what he brings to the team, and he might actually outplay that contract. Because right now he's worth 10 to 12. The good thing is that he's really possibly a $15 to $20 million type of player that you might get out of him. Because like Patty Mills might sign for $10 million also, but he's a $10 million guy at all day, every day, good or bad. That's just what he is. The upside with Trey Jones is significantly higher if he can start to knock down jumpers at a better clip. So getting him at $10 million is fine. Mamu, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever. Think about all these re-signings they have. They're very flippable, very easy to throw into the package.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you and I went back and forth about the trade to bring Cedi Osman to the Spurs.
And then a player that the Spurs have been salivating for years, back since 2017.
Yeah,
They've been
what
chasing this guy for a long time.
you texted me. I was at a restaurant when you texted me, and I called right back, and you said it's Osman, and I was like, oh man, Pops had a hard on for him for years.
Yeah, for years.
That was the exact words I used.
No, you're right. No, I mean, I didn't use those words, but yeah, I mean, they've been chasing him for a long time. So he's going to be a solid bench player, if they do keep him. Yeah, throw him in the mix out there. They're just looking for filler for K-based Diop leaving. So that's all. I mean, you rely on a good steady 3-point shooter, so it's all good.
Yeah. Question from Rob is: does Miles Bridges tempt the Spurs front office? Only a 1-year, $8 million qualifying offer from the Hornets.
Is he the one that got in trouble off the court?
Yeah, isn't that the domestic abuse one?
Yeah. The Spurs need to stay away from that after the Primo situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, don't be wrong. Talent wise, he fits the bill for a lot of what the Spurs need. But after Joshua Primo, they're gonna have to bounce away from that. Dude, I'm looking at myself on the YouTube page right now.
Yeah.
Got some scruff going on. I used to use this one razor for, I used to use like the Schick Quattro razor or whatever it was. And I used that for many, many years, and I could never grow out a beard or any type of significant stubble. Well, my son, who's special needs, he needs to shave every few days or so. He has an electric razor, and I've never used one before. Well, I used one years ago, but it like sucked my face. It like ripped skin off.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been afraid of them. But he has like that green electro whatever to put on the face. So about a month and a half ago, I started using it. Now the stubble coming out of my face is thick. And I asked my wife the other day, "Am I going to grow a beard?" Just to say that I can.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think you could rock the beard.
Yeah, I got the chubby enough of a face. It covers up a lot. Dude, I gotta lose weight, dude. I gotta lose weight. Gotta lose weight.
Speaking of beard, I can't grow one at all. I can't even grow a mustache. I can't.
But it's okay. It's fine. I wouldn't worry about it, Jeff, because you compensate for it by having expensive jeans.
There we go. I set myself up for that one.
Oh, again, we're hashtagging Moneybags Jeff on Twitter today.
No, we're not doing that.
Do you know what I want? Bear County Social Apparel, since you're like the king of what is it called? Photoshop. I want a picture of like of you with the the Monopoly man.
We're not doing that.
Someone Photoshop Jeff Gross.
Lies.
And I might be able to provide the photo for that because I think I actually have one of your face.
Oh no,
dude.
I mean, there's one there permanently on the Twitter page, so it's not like we cannot not find it's right there.
Oh, I mean, but dude, is it that one where you're on the news desk?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's what kind of 1980s quality is that, dude?
That's right. I'm sticking to my old school ways, man.
It's a photo of a photo of a photo. What are you streaming these days, my man? What are you watching on TV?
Just finished. Oh my goodness, Mayans. So I just finished that.
Nice.
I just say caught up all the way up to where it is right now. So that's good. Saw the documentary about the American Gladiators. That was good. That was fun. What else? What was the other thing I did wrapped up? Oh, a bunch of anime stuff that I know you're not into, so I won't even go there. So a lot of anime stuff I caught up with. Because I don't, for those who don't know, well, I think the majority, maybe some of your listeners know, but anime, they're like soap operas. They just never end, but they do have an ending eventually. So they'll say like, oh yeah, we're done. Like next season 4 is our final season. But they do this trick where they go, it's split into 3 parts. There's basically 3 brand new seasons. So like it never ends. So I did caught up a few of those anime. What else? I know I saw a movie. Oh, I caught up with Paramount's new Star Trek series with Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other actors there. Very good. I highly recommend that one. You need to be a Star Trek fan at all. You just dive into it and get where they're going. It's very dramatic. It has a lot of action in it. It's on Paramount. And then just waiting for a couple other seasons to start. Like, what's it called? Killer Bees. I think it's called the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
On Paramount. Yeah, Killer Bees. Waiting for that to restart. Waiting for the new season of. What's that one where it was like a North Korean movie where they did all the obstacle courses?
Don't know that one.
What was it?
I said I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, it was real popular during the pandemic. They run these deadly obstacles. Oh my goodness, what was the name of it? And they were the. Here, I'm gonna look for it right now. I'm getting you right now.
By the way, while you're looking that up, you mentioned Mayans MC. Is that what you're talking about, Mayans MC?
Yeah.
I need to catch up on that. I believe that's on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. Two of the actors from that show were on my old show, Halftime. Yeah, so I interviewed when I was at Super Bowl Radio Road, not this past February, but the year before, Emilio Rivera and Edward James Olmos.
Oh, nice. By the way, Squid Games. That's it.
Oh, Squid Games. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Games, yeah. I think it's supposed to be coming out soon. So I'm waiting for that. And then what else? I finally saw Creed, the latest Creed movie.
Oh, I got to watch that one.
I finally saw that one. I have not been too ecstatic about the new Disney series, Secret Invasion. It's a snore fest. Sam Jackson's in it. I'm struggling to watch these first two. I'm like, where are we going with this? That's all I'm saying. Every episode, where are we going with this? So hopefully it picks up. It has one of the biggest budgets for Disney Plus TV, but so far it's been struggle to get through.
Brutal. I hear Indiana Jones's new movie flopped at the box office this weekend.
Yeah, I was surprised that the Flash movie flopped. I thought it was, for DC standards, was pretty good.
I think we're all tired of it, dude. I just think that we're all tired of it. It's too much. It's too much superhero shit all day, every summer. It's lazy.
I always felt like they needed to pump the brakes a bit and just give a couple years off. Like fine, you do streaming to Disney Plus, the Max, that's fine.
Yeah.
But as far as big theater, maybe cool off a bit. Because I don't know what the next genre is after. Like, if you have to rank it right now, it'll be like action comic movies. What would be number two? Like, what would be the type of genre would be number two in the theaters? Like, it's just all action and superhero stuff. That's all it is. Transformers came out recently.
And I like the Transformers. I like the new Transformers movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And I'm very happy that you appreciated the ending.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, you understood why it's a big deal. But,
yeah, it's a marriage of two franchises.
Yeah.
That
fans have been dying for decades.
That the universe exists where they both. It's kind of like how Mad About You and Friends existed in the same timeline in New York.
Exactly, same thing. Yeah. Exact same thing. And it was kind of a 180 because at least when I was watching that scene, I thought it would be the current secret society, so to speak, that was hunting Transformers, which was Sector 7. So I was waiting for that. Okay, you're gonna be part of Sector 7, and then when they revealed the other reveal, I was like, "Whoa!"
What a nerd! What a nerd!
Yeah, man, I came out of my seat like.
I know. I thought about it. I saw that. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is a Jeff Garcia wet dream."
Left me speechless. I now I want to go back and see the movie just for that ending, so I can look in the background because the whole time I wasn't paying attention to the background. So I'm pretty sure if I look at the background during that scene, there's probably that franchise's maybe known vehicles and stuff like that is in the background. I didn't even catch it. Because I was so fixated, like, where are they going with this? Why are they making a big deal? Sector 7. We know Sector 7. Then they did the card flip. I was like, no.
All right, Jeff, got to ask you a question. We're going to do a a karaoke night once we get to 500 subscribers. We'll hold off until you get back. By the way, we'll hold off until you get back. But that being said, what are you going to karaoke that night?
Oh, that's a good question. Hall & Oates. Let's see. Hall & Oates. Something fun.
Like You Make My Dreams Come True. Oh, you know what? I've always wanted to karaoke. Okay, I've done Hall & Oates songs before, right? I've always wanted to do Private Eyes, but I'm afraid to do Private Eyes because what if people don't clap at the moment? You know, the private eyes, they're watching you. What if they don't clap?
You gotta run the risk, man. There's one like I always wanted to try too. Man, let me think. Maybe Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Like September?
Like not like September. Something like Reasons.
Okay.
Reasons would be tough. Reasons would be really tough to do.
Now I got to ask you this question. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Subscribe to him on Spotify, on YouTube, and on Twitter as well. Jeff G Spurs Zone. You might want to change that handle to Jeff is Moneybags.
No.
Yes.
No.
I like it.
I don't.
I mean, just go with it, dude. Go with it.
Have you been noticing this? The Spurs have been sending out fans surprise boxes. You've been noticing this?
No, I haven't.
They've been sending them surprise boxes with a ping pong ball inside a box. The ping pong ball is covered in the Spurs court and it has number 1 on it. So keep your eye out for your mailboxes, people. They're sending them out.
I like it.
Very not uncommon for them to do that. Last year they started really ramping it up. I had the one where they did the Primo surprise box. Did you get that one?
No. The Spurs don't send me crap.
Well, I was surprised they sent me one. All these considered, but no, they say, yeah, we can send you one. I was like, okay. But
hey, what?
Here is San Antonio. Keep an eye on. By the way, everybody, if I could just make this real quick, just because we gave out a San Antonio Zoo prize pack last week doesn't mean it's over. Remember this. The Zoo donated 4 prizes. One of them was a gift box and a membership, but they also gave us 3 others. So keep an eye for that.
Jeff Garcia, before I let you go, because I'm going to wrap things up pretty soon. Got to make the kids some lunch.
Sure.
There's going to be a new documentary on Netflix this week, starting tomorrow, I believe. Actually, it's Wednesday. On the band Wham. Will you watch it?
Yes, I will. Back in the 80s, yep, I'll watch it. Yep, I'm watching it. I mean, by the way, everybody should watch the American Gladiators one. That one's hilarious. Some of the stories they tell you on the road is wild, and how the TV company treated them.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. And then like you'll get a different appreciation or angle than what you took away, from the merchandising side of them to. It's a wild. It's short, so you're kind of in and out. So you don't have to invest a lot of time. So Jimenez, you'll definitely like it too. Some of the stuff in there, you'll be like, "Wow, I did not know that." Skinny
Jimenez would have wanted to have done the dodge the tennis balls. That's what I would have done.
Well, I'll give you a little hint. You remember when they show all the obstacle courses and they're doing like the football one? You got to run, try to score on them, or
yeah.
You remember the one where you have to like throw the ball on the little cylinders? Like there's like 5 of them.
Like the basketball one. Yeah, I would have done well on that one. Well, you
probably would not have liked to do it after you found out that whole entire stage underneath it was just concrete. They would tell you these wild stuff on there, like wow, there's just concrete underneath that little carpet, and they're like, yeah, it's just concrete.
That sucks.
So check it out. You'll like it.
Jeff, when you come to town, Moneybags, I'm gonna need you to stake me at the poker house. No. We're gonna go play poker. You're gonna stake me a little bit.
Give me a steak, right? Yeah.
Yes, okay. Or buy me a steak. You know, I'm gonna take you to Perry Steakhouse, and you're gonna be like, $110 for a steak. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I'll make that up tomorrow at work.
That is Jeff Garcia.
Yes,
I'm on Locked On tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I already sent you the topics, by the way, so you got it on your text.
Cool. Talk to you soon, man.
Later.
Hey, thank you to everybody who's been on this this thing. This is all just a test, man. This is a test. Again, Joe Garcia was not able to. He's enjoying the holiday, so I'm not holding that against him. He's enjoying the holiday, but I just wanted to see if this was a if this was a capability of me having through my headsets and all that stuff. If there's any last questions, I'll stand by for another minute or so. Any other questions on chat? Anything else you want to talk about before I go and make my famous spaghetti here? That's not famous. It's just spaghetti. My wife's going to be like, what time do you feed the kids? I'm going to be like, 3. But if there's no questions there, thank you so much to everyone who was on today's podcast. It's been fun. It's a different way of doing things. And we will be back Wednesday. But everybody have a safe 4th of July. Don't spend too much money on fireworks because it's a waste of money. Is what it is. But if you're gonna go out there and pop fireworks, be safe out there. Don't do stupid shit like hold the ball rocket up with your hands. Don't tilt the bottle to shoot them sideways. Don't hit somebody with a Roman candle. Don't do any of that crap, man. The ER is going to be full of people. We're going to lose fingers, JPP style, like from the Giants back in the day. But everyone have a safe holiday. Have fun out there. Y'all be safe. See you guys on Wednesday.